Hi everyone, my name is Gonçalo. I'm from Portugal, and I wanted to share my story why I left the Jehovah's Witnesses religion or organization. I've been reading a lot of stories around the world and listening, and of people who also left or who are trying to leave. And there are such wonderful stories, and some of them made me really sad because the people who left always lose something, and in the beginning it hurts, it's painful, but I can see now that they are living their own true lives and they are happy. So I decided to share my own story too, and of course what I said before, it's true. Your life can change, but also for the better. So I started to study the Bible when I was around 15, 16 years old, got baptized 1 year later. As soon as I could, I went to regular pioneer and served for 13 years. Meanwhile, I was a ministerial servant, got married with a wonderful person, and then in a few years I got to elder two and I served for 1 year and a half. I can say that I was happy. I had a good life, of course, with ups and downs, that because that's life. But I always had some doubts. But of course, those doubts were not enough to make a decision or to think deeper about that, because it's normal in life having some doubts about ourselves, about what we hear, what they are teaching us. And I didn't have a lot of time to search. I was really deeper in the organization, working for the congregation, doing a lot of things. But when I moved city, I had more opportunity to do so. So I started to try to convince myself or try to explain myself about this subject, about that subject, for example, about the blood, for the birthdays and other things. And what I started to see was a lot of inconsistencies and also a lot of lies. And I got really worried because how can this be possible? How can they lie to people like this, fool people in a lot of different ways? So I start to dig deeper, try to understand what's going on, and I realized that I was living a lie. It was really hard at the time because it's 14 years old, okay? And of course I'm still young, but I can imagine those people, for example, who are in there more than 30, 40 years old. It's really insane what they are living. I started to dig deeper and realized that something was really wrong and this organization was lying to all of us. But it's not easy, not only to find out that, but how you're going to share that with your loved ones, because that's a sensitive content for them. It's like apostate lies. They think everything outside the organization, who criticize their own organization, it's a lie. So how can you share that with them? I was married, as I told you at the time, so I tried week by week, bringing some subjects, talking with my wife, but all the reactions were a little bit aggressive, not agreeing with my thoughts, and even sometimes calling me almost an apostate. It was really complicated trying to be reasonable with her until it get to a point that we have to have a conversation, because you can no longer be the same person when you find out that you can no longer be that. And she realized that, so she wanted to have a conversation with me, and I explained to her. I was an open book to her, tell her everything, and I got the worst response that honestly I was not expecting. Okay, if you believe in those kind of thoughts, if you don't believe in the organization anymore, please, as quick as you can, do what you have to do, but you can no longer stay in this house and you no longer belong to this family. I was in the time living with my mother-in-law. her mother. We were living with her. So this is what the answer that I get. Just because I don't agree with the teachings of 11 men in New York, I got kicked out from home. And it was really painful because you live with a person 6 years, okay? You live a life with friends, and just because you get to a point that you don't believe anymore or you don't agree with some things, because you can agree or not agree with things of life, that's life. Just because of that, I was kicked out from home. I didn't know what to say at the time. It was it was complicated. It was really complicated. I had to leave the house in 2 days because she was pressuring me to leave the house. I had to stay in other places meanwhile, so it was the worst months of my life. I had to start all over again. I only had friends in the organization, so I had to make new friends, but it's not easy because you have to deconstruct a lot of things, a lot of thoughts in your mind of what you learn, of what is right, of what is wrong. So it's a really difficult and long path that you have to make. And I just want to say the same thing. Just because you think different, you lose everything inside in that organization. And that's not fair. That's not fair. You lose all of your life just because of that. I met some experience. I read some experience of people who kill themselves because they could not take the of what the family did to them, like avoiding them, not calling them, not talking to them. They were alone. They felt really alone, and so they decided to take their own lives. It was really, when I read those stories, was really hard. How can this be happening? How can the people be so blind and not seeing what they are doing to others? The manipulation in there is really strong. So I have to start all over again, rebuild my life. It was not easy in the first months. It was really complicated. Meanwhile, I met some new people, amazing people, and I realized that those people, which they call people from the world, some of them are even better of some Jehovah's Witnesses that I knew. They had a wonderful heart and they didn't believe in religion. So what they were saying about the people outside the organization also was a lie. Of course, I also met people that were stupid, people that they didn't mean nothing to us. They are not good persons. But of course, you also met wonderful people. And living outside the organization also is really beautiful. You can have a life with goals, with aims. You can be happy, okay? You can be happy and live your own life. You can be true with yourself. You can feel peace, not only of your heart, but also peace of mind. And that's a thing that you cannot pay with none money that you can have. So 1 year left. I'm here. I'm happy. Of course, I still have ups and downs because it's life. But I can say that life outside it's really great. Really great. For those of you who are still in, don't ever afraid of search, of dig deeper. You're not committing a sin. You're not like doing something horrible. No. If you dig deeper, you're going to see the things that they are not telling you. You're not living the truth, you're living a lie, unfortunately. And for those of you who have to still in because of different circumstances like family, jobs, whatever, please be strong, keep doing your best because your time also will come when you can live and be truly happy with your own lives. So this is my story, and this is just one of thousands of hundred thousands of stories around the world. I knew some even worse stories, and the people got through them, and they are living their best lives ever. So if they can make it, I can make it, and you also can make it. So don't give up. Be strong, okay? Thank you for listening to me, and sorry for my English. I did my best, and I wish you all the good.